Well, it's getting that time of year where I need to get these jet skis ready to go for the lake season. And there's one thing that always drives me crazy when I break these things out and get them ready to run, and that is the dead batteries. No matter what I do, I buy these batteries, put trickle chargers on them. They last one season and that's it. So this year I'm going to be trying out these lithium batteries that were sent to me so I could do the review. I'm going to take these lead acid batteries out of these jet skis and put these lithium Powersports batteries in, and we're going to see how well they turn these engines over. So as you can see here, I try to keep our jet skis maintained really well. And like I said, the one thing that drives me crazy is the battery. So I did take the lead acid battery out that was here. I had it on a charger. It would not hold a charge. So I got this thing ready to put a different battery in. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lithium battery in here, and let's just see how much power this thing has. Lithium's not usually known for being a starting type of battery. That's why a lot of people still have to use lead acid batteries for cranking engines. But these batteries were specifically designed to give out the amperage that's needed to crank over an engine and do it over and over and over and over again for many, many years, instead of lead acid batteries that kind of just give up after a year. I'm going to get it installed and we're going to turn this thing over. So when you open the box, you're going to have the battery and you're going to have all of these other little pieces here that help you adjust the size of the battery, because you can get a lot of power in a lithium battery in a small package, but some of your, power sports equipment like these jet skis or a four-wheeler or whatever it is you want to put it in may have a tray that's bigger. So if you need a battery that's taller or wider, it comes with these pieces of foam, sticky foam that you could stick to the battery, the bottom, whatever you need. It comes with 2 extra plates to make it taller. And then you have a little card here that talks about it and the manual, but it comes with a screwdriver and all the screws that you would need to get all of that put together. Lithium batteries like to be stored, at like about a half full, not all the way full, not all the way drained. So 50 to 75% full, that's a good storage voltage for that. So that's probably why this is, half to 3/4 full. But I have not charged it. And what I want to test is not how quickly I can just get this thing cranked. I know I can get them cranked. What I want to know is how long I can turn this engine over and over and over and over again. Will this let me try to crank an engine that just maybe is stubborn that day? Because sure, it doesn't take a whole lot of amperage to turn over the engine a few times and that's it. I need to know, is this thing going to continuously be there to back me up and make sure that I can get these jet skis started? So we're going to try it right now. I've got the safety plugged in. The key is now turned on. Let's go ahead and see what it's going to sound like. So the battery kind of fell off that edge. That's fine. I'm going to leave it hanging here like this, so that way it doesn't fall again. But that actually sounded really healthy. So normally the lead acid batteries that are in here, even when I get them brand new, they didn't sound that healthy. But, they do a good job getting them cranked. When the year rolls around to the next season, they definitely don't sound that well. And usually you don't have many cranks before they just start dying off. I want to see how many cranks I can get out of this just continuously trying to crank it. I don't want to wear the starter out, so I'll give it a break, but that sounded extremely healthy and it ran for a long time. I didn't hear any kind of digress or anything in it. So it's really putting out all the amperage that it needs to get this motor spinning, not just enough to get it cranked real quick. It looks like it still has enough to keep going and keep going and keep going. Maybe you need to choke the engine. Maybe you need to get some fuel flowing, but whatever it is, it still has the power to do it. So let me try it again. I mean, that sounds just as healthy as it was the first time I did it. And like I said, that is really spinning that starter over. I'm assuming some of that extra oomph that it has, that extra power that it's using to push and turn this over, is because it's a lithium battery. These would normally charge in the 14.4 or 6, something like that range, and then they would sit in the 13s. So the lead acid batteries would normally be fully charged at like 12.8 and they would sit in the low 12s. So that extra 2 volts or so, that's still about 20% more voltage going into the starter. And if it has the same amount of amperage in it, you know, you're getting 20% more power into that starter. Man, that sounds really, really good. Let's look at the amount of power. Now it did go down 1. Well, see, it's kind of sputtering. So this little meter here, what it's doing is it's verifying the amount of voltage that the battery has. And that's kind of how you tell how much power is left in your battery. And the fact that you press the button and it is going back to 3, it's probably at the bottom of 3 and it's just on that edge. That's more than enough cranking that I would normally need to get these things started. So yeah, I'm really happy to have these. Not only is it a more powerful battery, it seems, because it's really turning that engine over well, but they're lithium batteries. So as long as you're not abusing this battery, you should be able to get thousands of charge cycles out of this, which would put you into like the 10-year range on how long these batteries would last. And then the fact that these batteries are about the same price I would spend on a lead acid battery that only lasts me 1 season. So very happy with them. Definitely think they're going to do a great job. Of course, only time will tell, but so far so good. I hope all of this information was helpful. Thank you very much for watching, and y'all take care.